Sims, you's up.
And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
So while the SimStandard is sitting here tripping and they're, becoming passive and weaker, we see this new group coming up. We see them come onto the scene, and they're like, enough is enough. They have stepped into that man role and say, either you fix it or it's done. We're done with you. We're not waiting around for you to nickel and dime us with this whole little, piece of garbage, 3-year plan. You either fix it or you can count us out for good. This group stepped up and they decided to be that voice and take that stance that the SimStandard once stood or took. And they were that militant group. And then what did you see? You began to see, I guess you began to see the differences when they started to clash. You saw the differences in what the Simheads United stood for and what the SimStandard was.
Brother, leader must have courage of Simba, lion. This is only the beginning.
Refreshments, Brother Bakar?
No.
Brother Bakar, you should have been there. The pigs laid down to us. We are finally getting the respect that we deserve, just like you prophesied.
Sister Alma, more libation, please.
Yes, brother.
Like I said, brother, we are the vanguard. Once Cleaver's story comes out, then you'll see.
Hey, man, what the fuck are you doing? Hey!
Malcolm X's widow's life was on the line today and your guns weren't loaded.
A gun's a gun, man. It doesn't need to be loaded.
Tell that to the pigs, or better yet, tell that to Brother Malcolm.
You wait a second.
No, you wait a second! Because you and your punk panthers are counter-revolutionary. You got 3 choices. 1, you merge with us, you follow our rules. 2, you change your name. Or 3, we annihilate your...
You listen, pretty ghetto boy. You're a long way from Oakland. And you're not Malcolm. Fuck you!
You're the kind of brother we don't need. You're the kind of brother that gets other brothers killed. You're gonna change your name! Bakar, tell him you'll do it. Tell him you'll do it.
Okay. But only for the revolution. Help me out. Move out! Move out! You okay? Move out! See? This is kind of revolutionary. Like crabs in a barrel, pulling each other down.
Brother Jamal, where you going, man?
Forget him. Brother Jamal, get him!
So after individuals began to start holding the SimStandard accountable, we start to find the emergence of these groups like the Real SimStandard and Simheads United to decide to pick up that stance again that the SimStandard dropped and left behind. And we're willing to carry on in that passionate way. You gotta say it in the right way. You can't be too negative. If all you say is negative, then they're not going to listen to you. These are the kinds of things that that we hear from the SimStandard. That they're ready, that they're willing to kind of step down and play, I guess, a more calm. I don't even want to use the word calm, but a kind of a more neutered role in in the game. That's what we see. But some people, they realize that you can't just be passive, that you can't be polite all the time, that the truth sometimes is more important than being nice. Again, I understand that, you shouldn't be rude or disrespectful, but if something is trash, it's trash. I can't, I can't sit here and act like it's okay to support a company that still has not gotten their act together, that's still trying to to put one over on the consumers. And they've already put one over on the SimStandard. And as groups like SimHeads United started to push full speed ahead, fighting fervently for that stance, we see the SimStandard looking like...
Hello, Madden Nation. S. Gibbs here for another exciting edition. It is not your den, it is not my den, but it is the Madden Den, a.k.a. The Laser Show, the internet's most passionate show about John Madden NFL 13 football. Kicking off with a bang, I got some guests here with me today. We're down in EA Sports Orlando, Tiburon. We are here with the SimStandard fellows. We have Smitty, we have Sim, F-Ball Critic, and my man over here from Operation Sports, Russell Giles, R-Giles36. And we've had a lot of talk over the years, a lot of talk in the past couple months about Sim versus my style of play. The extremist, I could say I'm the Sim extremist, but also tournament style, freestyle, no rules, ban glitches, things like that, but...
So this new group in the SimHeads United, they're that passionate, militant group that has not budged from their stance, that has not backed down, and that will continue to be that voice that represents the community. And I guarantee you one thing that the SimHeads United won't do is shack up with a company, or I can't guarantee you, sorry, I take that back, but I hope that they would never shack up with a company just because they throw them throw them a spot on a Game Changers group. What are you going to do when, let's say 2K comes back, or let's say another company comes back? Are you still going to be a game changer? Because maybe I can understand now because EA is the only game in town. But if another group comes, if another company starts making software, starts making football games again, are you going to stay game changers? Because I would think that if you represent the community, you represent the community, and you don't shackle up with a company. You can tell them all they want to know. You can send them all the footage, all the videos that you want, but you don't need to be a part of them. Because quite honestly, if they're not listening to the consumers, if they're not going to listen to me because I'm a consumer, or they're not going to listen to other people because they're a consumer, and they'll only listen to you if they would only listen to me or you if we were a part of this little group that they bring in to give advice, then they're not the company that needs to be supported. That's not the company that I want to support, because they already have shown that they don't have the consumer's well-being in mind. Because as I've always said, the Game Changers, this little group is worthless. Because if they want to know what the people want and what the consumers want, and they want to know what's wrong or what we feel is wrong with their game, you've got tons and tons and tons of blogs and websites and video, social media pages that are dedicated to that purpose. That they can just get off their butts and read them and listen to them. But that's not what they do. They want us, they want the hardcore gaming community to basically, to feel like, you know what? Now there's a place at the table. That now our interests have a place at the table. So what do? What do? They snatch up the representative group of the sim movement. And they're like, come on. You guys, come down to Orlando and, come to the media day. Tell us all about, all the problems that you have. All they have to do is just get you on their side. And you made a comment about, to Apex about, what do I have to hold your hand to tell you not to buy something? In a perfect world, and I know you don't need, Now I know that, Apex, and he said it himself, he doesn't need you to hold his hand. He can do his own thing. But there are a lot of people that can't. Or I don't say that can't, but there are a lot of people that won't. And there are some people that can't. And when you are the voice, when you're supposed to be the voice of a movement where people are looking to you, they're looking to you because they feel like you are at a place where you have this level of expertise to give and share that they can use to help make them make a decision. So you have the responsibility. You've got that. You're in that place where people are going to listen to you and they're going to take your word. And whether or not you say save 65 or not, or whether or not you tell them, whether or not you tell them, whether or not you tell them the problems with the game, when you sit up here and you tell them finally they're listening, and you call a game solid, some people are going to take your word for it. But you got some people who are going to buy it, and they are fanboys that masquerade around as hardcore gamers. And then you got some people that would be like, get that garbage out of here. What are you talking about? Did you play that game? Did you see that trailer? They're the ones that aren't going to buy it. They're the ones that are going to sniff it out, that are going to sniff the weakness out and expose this, I don't want to call it corruption, but expose the corruption and the shadiness that's within EA and how it has affected the SimStandard. They're going to see that. So seeing what or who the real SimStandard is where do we go from there? When we see the role that they are really playing, what do we do? I'll be honest, I want the SimStandard back. I want everybody to be together. I want that passion that used to be there with everybody. I want there to be a place to go to for everybody to get quality, precise, and passionate information about what's really going on in the gaming world. That's what I want. I want the SimStandard back. How do we do that? Now, I don't agree that we need to come to blows, but I take that stance. You know, you got three choices. This is my request, my demand. You got three choices. One, you either change your name so that people, when they come on, you know, they get on YouTube and they want to know what the true sim standard is, what the standard of simulation football is. They don't need to be tricked. They don't need to be led astray. So either one, you change your name. Two, you join back together and you follow the standard of the sim movement. You pick back up the stance that was originally there. The full stance. Or three, just drop it. I'm not going to say, you know, to be annihilated, but annihilate your channel. Just go. Those are my requests, my demands on how we can solve this problem. Because as long as we have this division with personnel, division with ideas, that all lead up to the division of what the sim movement is there for. We have got to do something about it. Now, I wholeheartedly believe in the rights of the consumer and the customer. And no longer should anyone who claims to be for the community should be laying down with a company that has already proven to be untrustworthy. I can't say it anymore or stress it anymore that it is ridiculous. And at no point in time in any other field or area would it be acceptable for a consumer to be treated the way that football gamers are treated. But to the SimStandard, I guess you probably just don't get it. That if the SimStandard is going to be for the community, then you cannot be affiliated with EA. Because now the SimStandard is not a channel for the community, it's a channel for EA. Because when you can't continue on with the same passion that you had before, to continue to fight for what you yourselves say that still isn't in the game, then we have a problem. Then you're not fighting for the community anymore. You are keeping us in line while EA can do what they do. So as long as you are part of this Game Changers group, then the SimStandard is no longer part of the community. And many people who have been fighting for a cause know that they can't go to the beast that, itself in order to get help to solve the problem. In order to really solve the problem in a movement, you have to count on the people in the movement. EA is not going to open up its arms and be completely all in with what the Sim movement or the Sim community wants. You have to rely on the people themselves.
Hey, these guys right here want to join. Sorry, guys. The party feels it's important for black people to do it for themselves, so we're not signing up any white folks. Damn, what we're doing, we appreciate it, We'll organize some like just white folks, so I got a feeling we're gonna need each other.
This is something that is important to me as a consumer. This is not my life. Gaming is not my life. It's a hobby. Me making videos is not my life. It's a hobby. That's why I only have, 3, 4 videos now? It's a hobby. I got a lot of other things that I got to deal with. But I guarantee what I will not do is I will not sacrifice my principles. And with me, I refuse to buy EA. Or excuse me, I will refuse to buy Madden. I will save 65 every year until they get it together. And I don't think that there's any way that they could ever get it together unless there's competition. I refuse to buy the game unless it's the best game, not the only game. And we as a community, we got to think the same way. And there have been people in the community that are like, I will not buy the game, and then we see them with videos saying that they bought the game. We can't do that. That has basically turned you into a hypocrite, and your credibility's shot. You gotta hold out. I don't care if they they mark the game down, to half price or for $10. Anytime you buy that game new, you have torn down your principle. If you refuse to buy the game. If you've ever said that phrase, save 65, and you bought the game, then you're hurting the community. You're hurting the real standard. We need to come together, and we need to solve this issue. And everybody, everybody can't be right. And I know that there are a lot of egos in the community. There are a lot of people that think they're right. Or I won't say that think they're right, but they know that they're right. And we have to hold our representatives accountable. And that's why the SimStandard, that's why you're getting a lot of flack. Because people are holding you accountable. Because you may tell us, hey, we're going to bat for you. We're battling the devs, and we're telling them the problems in the game. You may tell us that, but that's not what we see. The community does not see you battling. The community sees you being quiet and putting out a video here and there. That's why you're getting flack. You don't have to be rude. Nobody's telling you to be rude. Nobody's telling you to be disrespectful or nasty. We want you to uphold the standard. And we want you to uphold the well-being of the community. And you can't do that as a game changer. Because if they're not willing to listen to me, with me being a consumer, but they will listen to you because you're a game changer, then they're just not the company for they shouldn't be. They're not the company for me. And I don't. And we should not want them making our video game, our football game. Now, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just telling the truth as I see it. If you get mad, if you take offense, I apologize. You know what? But the truth is the truth. How can I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? This is a troll for truth, because the truth should mean something.